Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Goddess KDB here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for subscribing if you have. Today's topic is all about long hair. How did I achieve waist length hair? I've been natural for 8.5 years and I am here to give you 5 tips on how I feel I achieved such length. Okay? So let's jump right into it. Tip number one, change your mindset completely. When it comes to natural hair care, you may have to almost toss out everything that you learned when you were relaxed and permed. I had relaxed hair and I went outside and it was raining, for instance. I ran right back in the house. Like, I am not going outside in the rain. The humidity, the water, it would have just flopped my press and curl, okay? It would have just messed up my whole hairstyle for the day. But now that you're natural, water's your friend. You just have to kind of reverse the mindset. You know, our hair is thirsty and it's craving water. I make sure that my hair is wet every single day. I leave the house with wet hair, yes, even in the wintertime. It does not bother me. My hair happens to be so thick that I never have to, feel like I'm extra cold. I'm just going from the house to the car anyway. But yeah, my hair, if she craves moisture and she craves water, I give that to her every single day. So yeah, change your mindset. That's the first thing. Also, under the lines of changing your mindset, get rid of any unrealistic expectations. My hair actually grows kind of slow. I think I read somewhere that the average strand grows, I don't know, half an inch a month. I tested that theory out. My hair only grows a third of an inch a month, which means it takes 3 months, guys, just to get 1 inch of new growth. That's actually pretty slow. So what you have to just understand is that everyone's hair grows. You wouldn't be getting touch-ups for your gray hair, or when you had a relaxer, you wouldn't be getting touch-ups for your roots if your hair didn't grow. Your hair grows. You just got to keep that in mind. It's just at the rate that it's growing, you're losing your ends or damaging your hair at an even faster rate. So either your hair looks like it's not growing, or it just looks like it's like completely going in the opposite direction. It just looks shorter and shorter. But your hair is growing all the time. You just need to keep in mind that whatever you're doing is ruining your ends. It is damaging your hair. I want to discuss what can prevent that from happening, okay? So, tip number two, heat. I think heat is pretty obvious. If it's not, please hear this loud and clear. Heat damages your hair. Hair actually burns at approximately 450 degrees. So if you don't have a heat setting that you can actually see on your heat styling tools, I wouldn't recommend using it. My flat iron that I own, I think it does go up to 450 degrees, but I can control the heat setting. I can control the temperature, and I suggest that you get, if you are going to use heat at all, to use one where you can control the heat setting, and to make sure that you never ever go up to 450 degrees. I really don't see a point in going to 450 degrees. I could pretty much straighten my hair pretty well with around 390, 400 degrees. That's it. I'm not going any higher than that. Suppose you grew your hair out for 2 years, you're on your natural hair journey, and you just achieved all of this natural virgin hair, and then you just like burn it in one setting, guys. It only takes one time to burn your hair, and all those curls are gone. You basically just wasted all of your time and efforts and energy, so it's not worth it. Just remember, if you're gonna use heat, never go above 450 degrees. I only use heat once a year. I call it holiday hair. Around the holidays, I will style my hair. I go to this like fancy ball. I get all dressed up, and I just want to wear my hair completely different than how I normally wear it. So I'll just straighten it and wear it straight for the ball that I go to around Christmas, and that's it. Once a year, I can somehow make that straight hair last for about a good 3 weeks, and then I go back to curly. That's it. So I would recommend that you do it rarely. I advise maybe just special occasions or just for a length check of some sort. But yeah, if you're gonna use heat, stay under 450 degrees and don't do it as often as you did when you were relaxed. When I was relaxed, I used heat tools every single day and my hair broke off and I could never get it longer than my shoulders. So heat definitely damages your hair. Okay, so that would be tip number 2. Tip number 3. This one's more like a myth, okay? Protective hairstyling, depending on what style you're wearing, they're not really that protective. Okay, you got to remember that anything that requires high manipulation, and by high manipulation, I mean any style that requires every single strand to be touched and manipulated and to be pulled tightly in order to create the style. I mean, you're basically damaging your hair to create the style. Like, you just have to remember that that's a lot of manipulation. You're kind of agitating the hair strand there, and it's just not worth it. You know, you're spending 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know how many hours, getting these braids, putting this weave in, wearing these wigs, and it's just really damaging to your hair. So I just think it's a myth that you're creating some protective hairstyle. I mean, all you're doing is abusing your hair just to create the style. So that's not very protective at all. A protective hairstyle to me would be wearing a ponytail with an elastic hair tie that has no glue on it. It doesn't have that metal piece to show where two pieces were joined together. It's kind of like, it's made of nylon, so it's kind of like the cross section of a pair of pantyhose, for instance. You can find them at your local hair beauty supply store. But using a snag-free hair tie, putting your hair in a ponytail up off your shoulders, and then maybe tucking the ends under into like a little bun, but keeping that ponytail sort of loose. Like I would make sure that your hair is not pulled too tightly. It should not give you a headache of any kind. Okay, so that to me is a protective hairstyle, and I would also do that on wet hair with like a leave-in conditioner or something like that. That's protective hairstyling. Low manipulation. I didn't have to touch every strand. My hair's not pulled too tight. And, you know, you still can keep your hair off of your shoulders and away from all of the elements. Okay, so keep that in mind. That would be tip number 3. Along with tip number 3, I would avoid wigs if at all possible. Just the hairline, it just manipulates those edges. I feel like you're gonna lose your edges. Same thing with headbands. I wouldn't recommend headbands. It's touching that same area around your hairline too much. That is just too much manipulation, okay? Avoid it if at all possible. If you're gonna grow your hair out natural and you're on a long hair journey, wigs cannot be your daily go-to. It's just not conducive to healthy hair or growing your hair out. I just have a feeling that you're going to be losing a lot of your edges throughout that process. Okay, so I would not wear headbands unless it's satin. Maybe a satin headband would be okay, but again, it wouldn't be something I would use daily. Okay, so wigs and heat and headbands, they all need to be reserved for one-time, you know, scenarios or special occasions. Okay, tip number 4. Be very, very gentle with your hair. I like to think of my hair as like that special needs child who needs an IEP in school. She needs to be removed from the regular classroom. She needs to go to the resource classroom. She needs one-on-one instruction, and she needs extra time for her assignments, okay? She needs extra attention. My hair is special, and I want her to be treated that way, okay? Very, very gentle. If I'm driving in my car, I am leaning a little bit forward. Yes, my neck may hurt the next day, but it is worth it. I have waist-length hair. If I lean back, I'm gonna be sitting on my hair basically. My hair is gonna be pressed between my back and the chair, and then every time I look left and look right, I'm just pulling on the ends. Like, that's damaging to your ends. I don't usually have any issues with split ends. I hardly ever have to trim my hair. The only time I have to trim my hair is if one side seems longer than the other because of the shrinkage. You know, it might shrink more on one side than the other side. So I might trim one side just to make it match the other. But I typically never have issues with split ends. It's very rare that I have some split ends that I would need to trim. And that's why, because I'm just very mindful of my hair at all times. I'm always treating it very, very gently. I'm always being very respectful of my ends. I never wear anything, no tight, pulled tight hairstyles. I basically wear my hair down every single day. This is my signature hairstyle. So I just think it's a myth that you have to have your hair in these tight braids or pulled really tightly in all these ponytails. Like those to me are actually quite damaging. It's just too much tension on your hair strands. If you were to see what you were doing under a microscope, you would see that you'd really be stretching the strand beyond what it can do, what it's supposed to be stretched at. There's a little bit of give, a natural give, that the hair strand has, but once you get past a certain point, you've damaged the hair. So, and damaged hair is limp, it doesn't curl, you can't revive those curls anymore, and you basically, like I said, wasted all that time growing it out natural. It's not worth it. Tip number 5. My last tip would be get to know your hair. Everyone's hair has its little quirks and likes and dislikes. Our hair is like a diva, okay? My hair loves aloe vera, okay? But she absolutely hates coconut oil. So my hair gel that I wear every single day, the #1 ingredient is aloe vera gel. So she loves that. It makes it soft. It's kind of like wearing a conditioner all day, even though it's a hair gel. But honey, coconut oil will make my hair feel brittle like straw. It'll make it dry. It will make it break off. Like, my hair cannot stand it. And therefore, I can't really be a product junkie because almost all of the hair product lines today have coconut oil as one of their main ingredients. So you have to get to know your hair. Once you get to know your hair, you need to avoid what your hair does not like, and you need to give it what your hair craves, okay? You can't just jump on the bandwagon and do what everyone else is doing with their hair. You will figure it out. Your hair will let you know if you're doing something that it does not like. Your hair will feel fine one day, and you'll notice that the more you use that certain product that you've been using or that regimen that you've been trying out, over time, it just doesn't work anymore. All of a sudden, it'll become dull or dry or lifeless or frizzy or poofy. And that's a telltale sign that what you're doing is not working and that your hair is not having it, okay? I never have a bad hair day because I stick to what my hair loves and I avoid what my hair hates. So you will get to a point where after dealing with your hair day in and day out, you're going to learn these things that your hair likes and does not like. So keep that in mind. Respect your hair. She's a diva. Mine's a special needs kid. And I guarantee if you stick to these steps, your hair will thrive, okay? I have healthy hair. I'm going to show some pictures at the end of this. But I guarantee you, if you can avoid damaging your hair at the rate that it's growing, you will have no choice but to have long hair, okay? That's the secret, guys. Just retaining the length that you're already gaining every day, okay? All right, thanks. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. And until next time, ciao.